President Barack Obama was in Oklahoma to give a speech on economic issues and also to visit a federal prison, which, by the way, he is the first president to visit a federal prison.
That's
which
amazing.
Is amazing. But the big story coming out of Oklahoma is the fact that he was greeted by a small group of protesters that were carrying Confederate flags, basically waving racism right in his face. However, the person who organized this event, or this protest, I should say, was surprisingly a black guy who claims that this isn't racist at all. His name is Andrew Duncombe, and he refers to himself as a black rebel. He says they're blaming the racist problems on the flag and not on the real problems of America. Through the race lies the people who carry and harbor the hate inside.
Interesting, but he did add. Okay. So just because a black guy led the charge doesn't mean that you're not racist. And by the way, just because you're carrying the Confederate flag, in my opinion, doesn't mean you are racist by definition.
Right.
I think a lot of people do legitimately think Southern pride, etc. But now, look, guys, it's one thing to say, hey, this is my interpretation of it. You're wrong, by the way. The reason the Confederate flag became popularized in the late 1940s through the early 1960s is because it was a reaction to integration. So it literally stands for racism. That's why they brought it back. This was not even the original Confederate flag. This is the flag they brought to stand for racism. So you're wrong, okay? Now, okay, but it doesn't mean that for you today because you weren't part of George Wallace back in Alabama in the days, et cetera, right? But when you come and you put it in the face of a black president, now again, I get why some of you did it. You think, well, he said take it down from South Carolina, so you're making a political point against him. But you got to think that through. Okay, now this is a flag, if you believe that it stands for the Confederacy. The Confederacy said in their statements of why they're declaring war, we're doing it to protect the institution, the cornerstone of slavery, okay? So you're going in front of a black president and you're waving that flag in front of him and saying, ha ha, yeah, Confederacy. At the very least, even if I'm being incredibly generous to you, which I think I am, right? You got to be a tiny bit more respectful of that, knowing that, hey, he's going to interpret it in a different way. And a lot of people are going to interpret it in a different way than the way you think you're interpreting it. Let alone the fact that he's the president of the United States of America who fought the Confederacy. So it's kind of a funny thing to be like, oh yeah, Commander-in-Chief of America? Yeah, we're the ones who rebelled against you. Go America?
I know, it's incredible. Look, I believe in free speech. I believe in people's right to get together and protest. So what they're doing isn't something that I would ever want to ban. But what they're doing, in my opinion, represents the severe amount of hatred that Obama gets in contrast to all the other sitting presidents. Because other presidents, of course, got criticism, but for Obama, it's on another level. And believe me, we criticize Obama on a regular basis, but it's for his policy ideas, not for stupid things like his comment, his very lukewarm comment about the Confederate flag. All he said was, the Confederate flag belongs in a museum. And people were like, oh my God, throw feces at the wall. Just calm down. That's not even a harsh statement to make. He's a biracial president, and you are waving a flag that represents racism while he is in Oklahoma to talk about economic issues and reforming our justice system. You're pathetic.